welcome back.
And we're joined by Mr. Willoughby from the Belize City Council and Mr. Crawford, who is the Youth Center Coordinator at Gateway Youth Center here.
Yes.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mom.
So this is a very interesting initiative, and I obviously want to find out more about these street games. But before we do, it's always a good opportunity to find out what's happening with the individual guest. And I want to start off with you, Jermaine, to talk about Gateway Youth Center. Let's talk about some of the activities that have been ongoing at the center and the community that you serve.
Good morning. Gateway Youth Center is an arm of the Ministry of Education, as it says. We're an extended arm of the Education Support Services Unit, and we cater to at-risk youth, students who have dropped out of high school between the ages of 13 and 19.
Yeah.
And we form that support service for them, whether they need academic help, they need to re-enroll in high school, they need support in tutoring after school. So we look at a rounded child, we look at the rounded support that the children may need, and we try to alleviate the problems that have caused them to drop out of school. Or we even provide the service for students who re-enroll to keep them in high school. Many students are at the brink of failing or at the brink of dropping out. So we look at the rounded service for a child, as education may put it. So we provide math, reading, the basic, remedial to get them up to a certain level. Our main component is the Positive Youth Development Curriculum. You may have heard of the PYD curriculum. Along with those programs, we do short courses, a little bit of judo, martial arts, steel band. You may have seen Gateway Youth Center with a steel band group, sponsored by Niche. We also do guitars, we do basketball. So we look at the child from an academic standpoint, but we also provide other programs to keep them engaged. So not just to keep them off the street and to waste time at the center, but to keep them rounded.
What's the age range that you work with?
13 to 19. However, they must have completed primary school.
Okay.
We do not do preparations for PSC. So those centers would be probably Living Hope and Friends Boys School. But once they have completed primary school and they're not in high school, we provide service to them.
So you offer dual services. Not only is it for persons who have not continued into secondary or completed secondary, but you also offer remedial sessions for persons who are in school and need a little bit of help.
Yes, that's our after-school program.
Jermaine, that's it's an interesting demographic, and obviously where you're situated is meant to be able to alleviate some of the social problems that we see in that area. Tell us a bit about some of the stories of the children that you find, those specifically who are not in school, as to what has stopped them from progressing in their education.
I think the common trend for our youths right now is not being able to access education based on geographic location, based on demographics. We have had several students at Gateway who are bright. They have potential, and we always hear our Belizean youths have potential. They do have potential, but we have had several students who probably were going to ACC, but they live in the St. Martin's area, and they need to pass through so many turfs before they reach ACC. Or on their way back, they can't go downtown, they can't go through Amara, they can't go through several streets. Students who probably get accepted at Liz, who live in the X or Y or Z area, can't access. So there are many cases where students are out of school because of the location. Maybe they're not a part of the crime, and we always hear it, but when you get to see it on a daily basis, but because we live in a certain area, or because my cousin is from that area, and it goes as young as 11, 12, 13-year-olds. So those are some of the stories. Other situations may arise. We use the term at risk loosely here in Belize, and many times we put troubled youths to that term at risk. And not all of them are out of school because of violence or crimes committed or maybe expulsion. Some of them are for socioeconomic reasons. Maybe they can't pay school fees, or the mother has 3 or 4 children and prefers to or chooses to sponsor this one or to invest in this one because they see a way out. So there are many reasons why students are out of school.
So does the center then prepare them to perhaps re-enter or enter the secondary school or secondary schools, or do they just do the program and then move on to find jobs?
Our main purpose is to transition.
Okay.
To re-enroll students back in school.
And what has been like the success rate?
More than, I would say 68 to 85%.
Oh, wow.
The transition, Ministry of Education, well, Gateway being an arm of the Ministry of Education, students have, I would say, direct access, especially to our government schools. So there's no excuse not to go back to school, but it's up to the students. It's just a matter of finding out where they are, and that's our main purpose at Gateway, to find out the levels they are in various aspects and to take them to that another level. So that's our responsibility.
Now, Councilor Willoughby, obviously having you here, and we're going to talk about the sporting aspect, but we know that the City Council does work with agencies like Gateway and others in being able to either supplement the work that they do or perhaps assist in some of their particular activities. Talk to us about this relationship.
Well, the council is extremely supportive of positive ideas, and hence the reason we do collaborate with the police department, Ministry of Education, by extension, Gateway Community, the Youth Apprentice Scheme program, and other programs and other projects across the city. Once the city is the beneficiary, so we do those collaboration, but in an effort to build a softer social side of the city, we want to probably rebrand the face by furthering these collaboration, but being the lead player on this initiative in bringing street games to the various communities across the city. Oftentimes we are here talking about emergency management, climate change, flood mitigation, and that type of thing. So this is something not new, because we used to do these programs back in 2006, 2007, and we thought it would be an excellent idea given the current circumstances within these challenging communities. Residents, the youths, they normally gravitate to political figures, so we thought it would be rather expedient for us to engage with the community on this level and try to, we'd say, vibes with them and try to see what we can do on our part to bring some kind of peace or semblance in these communities.
And were they receptive to the idea of the reintroduction of the street games?
Yes, the response has been quite positive. We've engaged, again, like I said, with the police department on this, the Gateway Youth Center, Ministry of Education, but more importantly, the targeted youths in these communities who need for us to be engaged with. So here we are.
So you have several different agencies that are going to be participating in the street games. You have the police department, the youth apprenticeship program, the sports council, the Gateway Youth Center,
And City Council.
And City Council. What does it? Does it mean you'll be playing as well?
I'll try.
You know they're going to challenge you,
I'll
right?
try.
There'll be some young athlete who says, Councilor Willoughby, I can beat you. But you're bringing together all these different young people. Tell us a bit about what you are hoping to be able to achieve and what you've done to kind of set the groundwork. When young people come together for the first time, sometimes they mesh well, sometimes not so much.
Well, for we on this side, we are targeting the youths within a specific community come the 12th of November.
Okay.
That would encompass the community within the immediate downtown Albert area, and that goes as far as probably East Collect Canal. We want to give the youths, an opportunity to come out and enjoy a Sunday within their community, because oftentimes there's nothing really happening positive or constructive within their communities. And we'll take this proactive approach or initiative to engage with them then we go further and see how it is we can engage across the various communities by bringing them together. And I think this will further complement the mitigative efforts we see what Assistant Commissioner Williams will be doing and rekindling as he has no return to the city.
And I hear what you're saying in terms of working within individual communities, obviously because of one of the issues that you pointed out earlier. Street games, I think, is such an interesting concept. It's like you're shutting down a part of the city just for people to have positive engagement in sports. What is the specific tournament outline? What can people expect? What games are they coming to play, and how do you put together your teams?
We're looking at basketball and soccer.
Okay.
We call it football.
Football, please.
So for that portion of Scotiabank to King Street, basketball will be played there. 2 portable rims, full court.
Nice.
3-on-3.
3-on-3.
Nice.
And from King Street to Prince Street, we do soccer. So they're happening simultaneously.
Okay.
So it's an event where, I mean, those are 2 of our favorite sports here in Belize.
Of course.
I would say popular sports. So coming out at that time would be an interesting. I know downtown normally we have hosted, what's the popular, cycling? So we are used to seeing cycling on Alberts and Regent Street.
Yeah.
You know, so street games, as Councilor mentioned, is something that has been done a long time. It has been going on a long time, and Gateway actually does street games, or its version of street games, but we normally use the taxi stand right at the Western Highway and Gwenliz, you know, where our compound is.
Yeah.
So we would like to take it out. And as I mentioned to somebody yesterday, there many times programs are being offered, and we think that youths don't want the program because they don't shop, but oftentimes we need to take it to them. You know, we're not spoiling them by saying, oh, they can't come, so let's baby them. No, it's a way, we have the resources. We can move. We can collaborate. So why not maximize the efforts and our resources, and instead of Councilor doing his street games individually, Gateway doing his own thing, police doing their own initiative, youth apprenticeship, let's maximize the resources. We don't have much time to get this thing right. So let's work together and let's pull off something. So it's not just for the youths, it's for the adults as well. I wish
So if
they
you
would
live
have.
in the community, you can come out and play?
Yes.
Yes, come
What
out and
is
play.
the age range? Or is there no?
16 and above.
Okay.
There's no limit. As one member mentioned that the last time we had a 50-year-old.
Yeah.
50-year-old engaged. I mean, if you feel like you're in shape and you can handle the youths, you come out. However, to cater to our at-risk population, Gateway population, 13 to 19, we have set a limit that a 16-year-old must be. So
Absolutely.
a lot of youths, 14, 15, 16, have skills, but they must be engaged. We can box them out.
And it's a great way to get different members of the community to build a relationship as well. What has been the response since you've gone into Albert and told them, okay, we're going to be hosting this event in your neighborhood on Sunday?
Historically, what has transpired during these street games in the past, you know that in the direct communities, other businesses would take advantage of the opportunity and gravitate to the street games. Maybe a resident may come out with a bouncy house, that type of thing. People might engage in a little business, selling water, selling sodas, selling small pastries and the likes of that for those who make them. So that is a great opportunity for them to take advantage of. Besides that, we'll be having DJs and that type of stuff. Hopefully, Councilor Edwards, who has spearheaded reactivating this program, can get some guest DJs in to entertain the youths with positive messages and so forth. So there's a lot of surprises that will evolve out of the street game initiative, just to find every possible avenue that exists out there, like Mr. Crawford said, to engage these youths, be it through sports, through arts, through music, through whatever means. We want to explore that to engage with these young people in a meaningful, constructive, and positive way. So we hope that the successes we've had in the past, we see blossom and grow once again through these initiatives and the collaboration, because all of us, all these entities here, all of us, people or some section of society gravitates to us. So we will be maximizing all of those who will gravitate and work with us.
And I think sports is an excellent way to unite people, you know. So it starts in Albert, and will it be like touring? Will you have different?
That's
and
the
then,
idea.
Yes.
Okay, so you go to all the different areas. You have the finals. Will there then be like a competition between Alberts and I don't know who else? Is that the plan or?
That sounds doable, but you have to look at the logistics.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Look at the,
I was thinking about that.
look at the key players involved, because you wouldn't want to spark something that you're not ready to,
Yeah.
to deal with, or something you didn't foresee. And also, Gateway uses this opportunity to advertise Gateway, and we want to promote Gateway and the work we're doing. I know Mr. Hyde will be promoting the Police Youth Development Program.
Yeah.
And Gateway will use this opportunity also to advertise and to recruit. Because there are youths out there that probably have not yet heard about Gateway Youth Center.
And who can use the services that are available,
Yes,
or
yes.
even go to learn a new skill.
Yes, so we look at Gateway as a youth center for those who are out of school, but there's also the after school program
Yeah.
for those who are engaged.
Yeah.
So tell us about the details on Sunday. Do people how does one sign up as a team? Do you get your own group together, or can you formulate one on the day?
The day set for the first street game is the 12th of November. You had the flyer up. The 12th of November. We start at 10:30 a.m. You can come out and register. We've agreed that registration opens at 10:30, but you have up until the first whistle blows
Yes.
when the street game
To put in
commences
your
ensure that
team.
your team has been registered.
And it's 5-a-side for football and 3-on-3.
Yes.
3 and 3.
And
So
first place is $400 and second place is
okay.
$200. And we like to also add that Minister Honorable Tracy Panton is also supporting the initiative as it is in her constituency.
Yeah.
So we'll have the support from her office as well.
Now, that means for people who want to drive downtown that Albert Street is going to be closed, right? So that's from
For
what
the-
times
for
and
the
what
portion.
areas, yeah?
So if you come down Albert Street, you still have the option of turning Church Street before going on to
No, you'll be able to take a right from Albert Street
Yes.
into Church.
into Church.
You can, depending on the amount of participants out there,
Yeah.
we'll decide whether or not you can cut across from Regent Street into Bishop and cross Bishop,
Okay.
or likewise cross from
Yeah.
into King Street over on Albert Street. So it depends on how the
We
participants
wouldn't
kinda
risk
turn
it.
out.
I think when you reach Albert Street,
You turn right.
turn right on it, make
Yeah.
your first right.
No,
Church
I'm
Street.
just saying, and you're letting people know ahead of time that it will be closed for this activity for the community on Sunday. And I see the closure times for the streets is 7 to 5:30 p.m. So people can plan accordingly for whatever they have to do downtown. And in the meantime, people within the Albert constituency will be having their own fun. So what is the tournament setup? How many games do you play? Is it
Well, that is contingent on the number of teams that turn up to participate.
Okay.
We don't foresee going beyond 5:30.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit over, but not extremely if
We
it
try to
does.
keep the games, and for the reason we're playing with time.
Yeah.
There's a running time.
And daylight saving time has recently changed, so it gets a bit darker much
Earlier,
earlier.
yeah,
So
yeah.
time isn't on our side in that regard.
So there will be a 5-member football team and a 3-member basketball team with
Correct.
bragging rights in the Albert area by the
For
end
sure.
of Sunday.
For
right?
sure.
And a bit of extra cash in their pockets.
Yeah.
For
right?
sure, positive. And we would also like to take this opportunity whilst we're engaging. We don't need any alcohol out there. We don't need any illegal or illicit drugs out there. It's just an opportunity to have clean, clean, fun-filled event day
Yeah.
for the resident parents, kids, teenagers, youths, anyone who wants to come out and participate meaningfully.
Okay.
And for those looking at security, the police department is also involved.
Yes.
So we will have their
Correct.
support, and we want to see the supportive side of both communities, the
Yeah.
police and the residents. You know,
Yeah.
so let's make this a fun-filled.
And after Albert's, where is it going? Where are the next street games taking place, or is that not in motion yet?
We have not yet chosen a
Okay.
Specific.
specific.
Okay.
We need to also look at what's happening in the city.
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
before the Alberts, one of our talk was,
In the Lake Independence area,
you know, so
but given circumstances
we had
and
to-
advice from the police department, they asked us to kind of revisit that thought and put it on hold until things can simmer a little bit, and then we proceed back to re-engage with the youths in the area.
Okay. So you start off with Albert Street, and of course, I'm sure if it goes well, you'll be able to know exactly where you want to go next and how you want to formulate that.
For
So,
sure.
we want to encourage, I'm sure you want to encourage people from the community to come out on Sunday. The games start
All are
at
invited.
Game
Ten.
itself,
10:30.
10:30. All right.
Start at
You can
10:30.
show up and register. You must have a 16-year-old on your team. That's very important. It is to get the young people engaged. So head on out to Albert Street on Sunday. You can watch the games or participate and have a great time. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Much obliged. Thank you.
We're going to go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about the UN Convention Against Corruption and its implementation process. So that's coming up after the break, so stay tuned.